block editor, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the general settings on the side. So this looks very close to what you see in the classic editor. The visibility, you can set the public, private, password protected. That was always there. Publish, you can change the publish date on this. Author is easy to change as well. The permalinks used to be down at the bottom and is now on the side. You can also change that by clicking on the header here and editing the permalink that way. I don't know why they did it twice, but there is an option here. Same thing with the categories. It's a little bit slow to load, but it is in there. You can select the categories, you can unselect things, and you can even assign a primary category if you're using Yoast and you have multiple categories selected. So we'll go ahead and close that. The tags, that's all there as well. The featured image is in here as well. That hasn't moved, that hasn't changed. The excerpt, we generally recommend avoiding this. But WP Rocket and Yoast, Yoast is actually below, but WP Rocket has its settings in here as well, and Yoast has its settings down here below. So if you need to edit the metadata or anything, that is all still here. So for the most part, editing the post still is available on the sidebar here. What happens though is when you click on any of the blocks, settings come up for the block. So what WordPress is trying to say is that this bar up here is the main editor for this. So if you want to edit the image, if you want to change any of these, if you want to align it differently, officially they're saying use this up here, but I tend to like using this side more whenever it's possible, especially for this. You don't want to get too crazy with changing colors, especially on text and all this, because this is post specific and not site specific. Any sort of color changes you want to do in your CSS so that it applies across your entire site as opposed to in here. But it's good to be aware that clicking on the block area is different from clicking outside of this. When you're on the block, you have settings for that block. When you're off the block, you have document-wide settings. So your typical post editor. It does change a little bit, and it takes a little while to remember that you're clicking on a block as opposed to off of it. So do keep that in mind.